So today's it's December 29th, 2025, and it's been a rough end of the year. And a good friend of mine called to want to set up a meeting for us to talk about our goals, and I was just like, I don't want to talk about goals. And maybe it's a collective feeling that we're all a little bit tired of this productivity chase, this hamster wheel race. Did you know there is an actual thing called Quitter's Day? According to the internet, by the start of February, approximately 40% of people will have failed their New Year's resolution. And that number is increased to 80% by mid-February. Today, I want to reframe this whole idea of a new year, new me, and banish the traditional sense of setting New Year's resolution and goals. Instead, I want to share these four, what I think are delightful and more effective ways to walk into a new year and not feel like an utter failure by February. The first anti-New Year's resolution is one that replaces specific goals with a broader intention. But it can be a very powerful intention. And this is a practice that I learned way back in 2017 from someone named Susanna Conway. She writes in her newsletter of this beautiful practice of selecting a word for the year. Here's a quote from Susanna herself on why this practice can be a lot more effective than setting traditional goals. Choosing a word for the year is a radical act of kindness. I've always viewed New Year's resolutions as a recipe for future guilt. Get fit sounds like a sensible goal to have, but it doesn't feel very inspiring. Even the more specific, go to the gym twice a week, has failure built in. I either go to the gym twice a week or I don't, and there's no room for any other outcome. And that's when we beat ourselves up for failing. On the other hand, choosing a word like energized or even strong affects me in a completely different way. They encourage me to make better choices, they empower rather than order, inspire rather than judge. And you can't break a word like you can break a resolution. The word or words you choose is there to inspire you whenever you need it. Your word is your ally. Giving yourself some time, sitting quietly in meditation, or simply just close your eyes and lay down and visualize what your ideal day or your perfect day looks like, down to the details of when you first wake up to when you go to bed. And after you're out of this visualization, just sit down with a pen and paper and allow any words that come up and jot them down. You can also look ahead at the year and see what things you know are expected to happen. You can also gently turn inward and ask yourself what types of experiences would you like more of in the coming year, or how might you want to feel, whether it's about yourself, about your life, about any other area of your life. If you already have a word for the year, please share it in the comments below. I actually have decided on my word and I'll share it at the end of this video. I honestly still keep a pretty meticulous to-do list for my daily tasks and my weekly tasks. However, for this new year, I'm intentionally introducing a new practice. It's a practice that I imagine as deep listening and attunement to myself, to what the seasons are calling me to focus on, and just creating a little bit more spaciousness around the word control, or the need to control, and desperately needing the outcome to meet my expectation. I focus more on what I can do actively in my daily and weekly to-do lists, and then I allow myself to let the universe surprise me. This might not come as easily to some of us because the need to feel and control and manage every aspect of our lives creates a sense of safety. If I can predict the outcome of something, if I can expect what's to come, then there's a lot less fear around uncertainty. But it is not a fun way to exist. When there's this band of warriors that exist inside of us, it creates this dissonance and incoherence. And when our nervous system is activated and agitated, it's very hard to hear our intuition, because intuition is oftentimes quiet. And it is also harder to hear the signals and nudges and love notes that we receive from the universe because we're too busy trying to control everything. So I want to introduce a practice that my friend told me, let the dog lead. I just realized that's like the dog in me. That's not where this is going. For any of you who have a dog and you take your dog on a walk, we all know that they're supposed to stay right next to us. We are the one in charge and we walk the dog doesn't walk us. Imagine you're out in the forest and instead of forcing your dog to stick to your side and letting you lead the way, just follow where the dog wants to go. Maybe you're driving and all of a sudden you're craving for soup. Let the dog lead and drive your ass to the grocery store and pick up the ingredients that you want to make the soup. For my friend, it was the Greek lemon chicken soup, avoglimano. I don't know if I'm saying that right, probably not. So yeah, if you ever find yourself in the new year with your butthole clenched tight and you cannot relax, remember, every once in a while, let the dog lead. Follow your tiniest small joy and see where it might take you. You're allowed and empowered to create more magic in your everyday life versus just being productive and optimized and disciplined. The third practice is really what not to do, which is to dump everything on your plate at once. How many of you went and sat down and listed all the areas of your life and made meticulous plans for each one? Like going to the gym 5 times a week, making sure you get your social time in with your friends, making sure you get some creative time for yourself, making sure that you spend quality time with your family, making sure that you get your side hustle off the ground. I don't know about you, but I feel exhausted just thinking about all of that. So introducing the layering effect, or creating micro habits and building and stacking on top of them. Say for Q1, or you can even pick 1 month at a time. Just select one. Maybe if it's small, select 2 things that are your absolute priority. For me, it's getting back to a consistent workout routine before adding all those other million things that I want to tackle and do and feel fulfilled by. That is my one priority for this quarter. And the rest of the things, they're still important to me, but I'm not making everything a priority, thus making nothing work. View your one priority per quarter or per month as the primary anchor. It's not to say that you let other things fall wayside, but make sure you give yourself enough time and space to really set up a consistent habit for this one thing that is very important to you before layering on and selecting something else as your priority. I don't like advices that seems like a one-size-fits-all because I don't know who you are. I don't know how busy your life is. Whatever you select to prioritize can be something really, really small and specific, or it can be something really big and broad. For example, it could just be Monday through Friday, I'd like to wake up and spend a little bit of time writing just a half page in my journal to help me sit with my thoughts, prepare myself for the day, and get anything I need out on paper. Or it's something really broad, like spending more time in nature. If you enjoy my videos, I do have free resources and paid offerings on my website, and you can go visit diagen.com or just check the links down below. And if you do want to stick around, please do subscribe to this channel. And also, I love reading through all of your comments and responding to the nice ones. Have you ever found yourself with a huge, lofty goal or dream? One that feels visionary or one that feels incredibly important to you. And whenever you think about it, it just paralyzes you because you can almost taste the distance of how far you are from where you are right here to that goal that you've set out for yourself, and that dream or the vision. I'm not saying that we can't have a fully comprehensive, detailed map of how to get from point A to point B. But the truth is, life tends to throw curveballs at us, no matter how much we stick to our plans. And not only that, sometimes the unexpected surprises actually steer us in a direction that feels more truthful and more alive versus the original goal that we started out with. The only way your path forward widens is by you taking the very next step. Someone once told me that working towards something is like filling up an empty glass jar with drops of water, one drop at a time. And as each water drop gets added in there for a very, very long time, it feels like nothing is happening. Until one day you add one more drop of water and the water overflows and out of the glass jar. And sometimes life is like that. I love that analogy because a lot of times we can feel like we're just walking this marathon and nothing is happening. But if we can just narrow in and just leave our grand vision alone for one moment and just ask ourselves, what's the very next step I can take that gets me closer to where I want to be? And sometimes that next step feels like a detour. Sometimes the next step feels like you failed. But as long as you can get clear and truthful about what is the very next step you can get, it will continue to create momentum to get you forward. And not only that, that momentum is going to open more possibilities and broaden the road ahead for you. So for 2026, my word of the year is going to be possibilities. My boyfriend and I are going to be traveling very slowly across the US, different cities and different states for about a month or two at a time. We originally wanted to do this actually abroad, but we have a dog with us, and so taking that into consideration, we thought it was better to maybe just explore where we live. So while we explore slowly and each of us building our own business, it really feels like we're embarking on this adventure on the open road. But on the other side of the same coin, for me at least, is fear. Fear of uncertainty, fear of the unknown, fear of change. Change is my lifelong intimate friend and most feared enemy. But as Alan Watts says, the only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance. Boy, have I known change and that hellish place between what's no longer and not yet. Change is the undercurrent of all life. And I am also grateful that bad things do change as well. Beautifully written in a newsletter from the Marginalian. That capacity for surprise is another way of saying we must trust the uncertainty inherent in change if we're to reap the rewards of true transformation, undergo an inner conversion. And the refusal to ossify, the wish to change one's life, shimmers with the deepest desire to live it. Virginia Woolf knew this. A self that goes on changing is a self that goes on living. So if you've been a little bummy and apprehensive for the year ahead, I hope you have discovered just a little bit more excitement and joy in walking into the new year. Especially if you have had a particularly challenging or difficult year behind you, life can feel really heavy at times, like heavier than we're equipped to carry. However, seasons do always change, even when it feels like we're stuck in the cold and dead of winter forever. Spring is always around the corner. So set those lofty goals if they do help you stay focused, but also give yourself permission to let life flow through you and be delightfully surprised at what happens when you listen deeply and attune to what is asking of you inside and the love notes that we receive from the universe, guiding us to our next step. If you want to stay connected, you can find all the links down below on social media. I do have a Substack as well. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.